Very special moment.
And here he is.
There he is, Card.
And the applause going up, the greeting, the waving,
Big
the smiles.
How amazing.
How amazing.
And Dr. Lislev was also talking about the symbolism of the red that he's wearing. You know, it is a sacrificial role, and that is the symbol of the cloth that he's wearing right now.
And we see this beautiful close-up view from the side there at the same level as the loggia. Pope Leo XIV.
Pope Leo XIV.
Amazing. Smiling.
Smiling
And
Pope, yes.
you can see who wouldn't be taken by the moment. And
I think going
overcome with
through his
emotion.
mind, you know, the weight of this responsibility.
Oh, yeah. You can see it on his face.
Very
Good morning, Owasso. This is Chad with Owasso Live, and this is the Morning Loop. Well, we have a new pope. It happened yesterday, probably at around sometime around afternoonish time. I said all my buddies were texting me about it. So, first thing I ask, of course, is so what is he? Is he a woke pope or, what? And they're all like, he's got some controversial takes, but, the pope, luckily he's not a political leader. He's a spiritual leader, so, which, I can take. But, at the same time, we all worry about this because the question is if you allow certain things in doctrine, because the Pope's authority is, the Pope has a lot of authority in the church. So if he changes things up in the doctrine, it stands to reason some of us could worry about that. But said he's from Chicago. He's the first American Pope, so that's really cool. So just really neat. That's a big deal for all Christianity, I guess. But we'll get to what we're talking about. I just wanted to kind of touch on that and just do a general meme review today. But I just thought that was really interesting. But I did bring this up to see, because this is how most people are getting their news nowadays from what I've been told. So I went to ChatPD and I said, is the new Pope woke? So I just thought I would read this real quick. It said Pope Leo, formerly the Cardinal Robert Prevost, was elected as the 267th Pope of the Catholic Church on May 8th, 2025, following the death of Pope Francis. While Pope Francis was known for his progressive stances on social issues, Pope Leo was expressed more conservative views, particularly regarding LGBTQ topics, and that's from the Irish Sun and 4 other sources. In 2012, Prevost criticized the homosexual lifestyle and media portrayals of same-sex families, calling such representations contrary to the gospel. He also decried that the increasing public sympathy for the LGBTQ individuals as influenced by mass media. These comments contrast sharply with the more inclusive tone set by Pope Francis, who had voiced support for LGBTQ plus civil rights and allowed blessings for same-sex couples. Groups like New Ways Ministry and Dignity USA express hope that Pope Leo will evolve his views during his years under Pope Francis' leadership. Catholic activists urged the new pope to build on Francis' openness, which included supportive statements meeting with transgender Catholics, authorizing blessings for same-sex couples. Some expressed cautious optimism about Leo's humility and potential willingness to listen, hoping they will continue to foster a welcoming environment for LGBTQ plus believers. That's from The Guardian. And that was from today. So this came out today. Pope Leo election has been described as a continuation of Pope Francis reforms, a potential bridge across ideological divides. His first address emphasizes openness, charity, and peace, mirroring his predecessor's themes. Analyzing suggests that Leo, American origin, is sufficient, and though his precise ideological stance is unclear, his perceived modernization may contribute to greater unity. And that's from Market Watch. So in summary, Pope Leo's past statements suggest a more conservative approach to LGBTQ plus issues. In recent actions and rhetoric indicate a potential for inclusive moderation, including the legacy of Pope Francis. And that is also from The Guardian. So that's kind of like what this is. Like yesterday, I had like it pulled up a completely different answer for me, but there probably weren't nearly as many articles written yet by this point. So I wish I had screenshotted that one from yesterday. But it was saying he definitely has some views like about expressed views about what is it called? I just literally blanked on it. The environment, that's it. Was climate change and the environment. He's spoken about views on that, about immigration, meaning to be more open to immigration, and just like he has mass influence over peoples, and the will of the people is something that countries have a habit of not listening to. And it's just like with all this open mass immigration, it's just like saying that oh, we're not doing enough for these poor refugees and immigrants. It's like, well, by that logic, wouldn't the neighboring country that they go to, also not doing enough? Why is it that America and the West has to do more, but their neighboring countries don't? It's just very, 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 kind of hypocritical stuff. It's like, so the people neighboring countries, and say whether it's from the Middle East or from, South America, it's like, why aren't they? I mean, at least in the Middle East, you could say, well, those Middle Eastern countries aren't Christian countries. We're like, okay, so the nearest Christian countries may have to do something. But what about South American countries? All South American countries are more Christian to my knowledge. Why don't they have to do anything for their neighbor or their refugee or the immigration people that are coming to their places? It's because it's not true refugees / like immigration from their country. It's like they're just country hopping. They're looking for a good vacation spot, and they land in the best one that gives them the most benefits and perks. And that's what I truly believe. So according to this, like I said, seems to be conservative by past statements, but more recent indications saying he's being more open to more progressive stances. But we will see. Like, there's no telling what he's going to do until he makes those decisions. So I gave everybody the kind of the benefit of the doubt until they start proven otherwise. But I was not the biggest fan of the very latest Pope Francis. So he was way too, open in my opinion. But that's really about it. So I guess we'll just get into the meme review stuff now. There we go. All right. Let me pull up those. Boom. There we go. And we'll start with this first one, which I just thought was super strange. They put a overweight black statue in Times Square to represent something. And I'm not entirely sure what's going on, so I guess I'll kind of refresh myself. I remember seeing this kind of blowing up in the meme space, and I was just like, what is going on?
And communicate those inner worlds that we have, and sometimes we misinterpret with one another, to try and create an understanding and basically encourage empathy.
Encourage empathy.
Now, we're just worshiping a random fat black person. Why are we doing it? It's clearly just to demoralize us. It's an egregious assault on our eyeballs, and I just think it needs to be destroyed.
And communicate those inner worlds that we have, and sometimes we...
Okay. So it's to prove inclusion and diversity and inclusiveness and niceness and all this. Like, if you're going to have a statue built of yourself, why not make it super, like, nice and, like, or make it over somebody that's done something, like, of significance in the world? But no, we're going to put a overweight female in the middle of Times Square for inclusiveness or whatever the heck that they've decided to do this for. So not of anybody that's done anything of significant value, not of a religious figure, not of, some, Greek, some like Greek level art that's like shows muscles rippling or anything like that. Nope, just overweight female wearing t-shirt and like jeans or leggings or some whatever. you're just gonna walk past and go, so people are gonna walk past and go, who is this lady? Did she do something? Was she some type of activist or something? You're like, nope, nothing at all. Just random statue for inclusiveness. So strange. So strange. Oh my goodness. But we'll get on to more talking about this one right here. This next one I think is liberals be like, and yeah, liberals are strange individuals.
Should be able to get a tattoo.
I'm gonna say no.
Probably not.
No. It's probably too young to make decisions.
It's a pretty permanent decision.
They can't make the decision for themselves yet. Something permanent on their body.
Do you think a 12-year-old should be able to consent to puberty blockers?
Yes.
Yes.
And I understand how that sounds really hypocritical.
Yes, it's a permanent change on their body, but I think that at that point in their life, they probably know who they are, who they want to be.
And you think so at 12 years old?
Yes.
Do you think a 12-year-old should be able to consent to puberty blockers?
Yes, because that's not a permanent decision.
I think there's plenty of time to make those decisions later on once they've had a chance to decide exactly what they want their identity to be.
I think that maybe there should be more waiting, but I don't want to, put down trans ideas.
If they can make an informed decision, yeah.
And you think a 12-year-old can make an informed decision?
I don't know, I guess it depends on the 12-year-old.
Be like a really mature 12-year-old.
Right, yeah. Because some children you can just tell, when they... that decision is legit with them.
Do you think a 12-year-old should be able to get a tattoo?
I'm gonna say no.
Probably not.
No.
Tattoos are permanent. Gender affirming surgery is not. These people vote. These people vote. And they take away your vote. It's insane to think about. Absolutely insane to think about that these people say that children are too young to get tattoos, but gender surgery, by God, give it to them. Give it to them in droves. Kids can't buy guns. Kids can't get tattoos. Kids can't buy alcohol. But you want to get a life-changing surgery, either cutting off your genitals, whatever. Thumbs up, brother liberals. Makes no sense. This is why people call liberals hypocrites. It's because of crap like this. How can that be okay? Nothing about this is okay at all. Oh, goodness me. Then when I talk about lack of freedom, you think everyone keeps saying that Trump is taking away our freedoms and taking away our liberties. This is what happens when you visit Egypt as a film crew to just talk about food. Just go look at interesting places and talk about their food, cuisine that they have there.
You should never travel to Egypt.
This is a country that brands themselves as tourist destination. I want to go there. Yeah. Really? We landed in Egypt. As soon as we landed there, it's 1 a.m. We're getting to our hotel. You know you're not in the best place if your hotel has as much security as an airport. So we pull up at this hotel and they are you need to scan the bags. We're scanning all the bags in big, giant scanners outside the hotel. So it's you're going through airport security. They scan our bag. They see a bunch of wires inside because we have all of our chargers. And then this is where the shit hit the fan. So they open it up. The first thing they see is 4 walkie-talkies. It turns out walkie-talkies are illegal to have in Egypt. There's been 2 revolutions in the last 11 years. The government can turn off the internet. They can't turn off your walkie-talkies. They're scared of journalists and they're scared of more uprisings in the future. And so for the next 6 hours, my team had to sit outside the hotel. We were questioned nonstop. We're gonna have a permit. We're getting it tomorrow. The night manager of this hotel, I hope to one day find him and choke him out. This guy, he said, you all 4 travel together, right? Show me all your passports and a country that you've been to, and all the dates need to line up in every country. Even if we all met today for the first time, what we're doing still isn't illegal. In the end, they took all of our cameras, lights, some hard drives. The police kept it. The next day, we got the permit. I go to the airport. We spent about 4 hours, 5 hours there. They won't give it back. We spent an hour just to make a name badge that said we had permission to be in customs just for, that one day. A plastic badge with my face on it. Cool. Super efficient. We have one option left. We have the iPhone. I can go buy another iPhone and lights. I just went to the store and bought more lights. I don't know what the point of taking my lights was. In my head, I still want to make a positive series about Egypt, the people overall all were friendly, not the officials. The next day, the police stop us. It's always some guy in plain clothes. He whips out a wallet with a dirty ID on it. Hey, I'm police, come over here. We have our permit at this point. We go to the police station. In the meantime, I have a dummy phone. I transferred some of the footage onto an extra phone. So if he asks me to delete something, I'll delete the dummy footage. And exactly that happens.
What does he want you to delete?
Yeah, great question. Food. A restaurant, he just was like, these pictures aren't beautiful. This isn't good. We have the permit. What's the permit doing? He just goes, well, we're not in jail.
So you could have been in jail for
That's what he
filming
said.
bad footage of food.
There are people accused of being journalists who are in jail even now in Egypt. Maybe they were tourists. It's hard to say.
But they're okay with iPhones.
Our series looks incredible.
Show some of the shots, Jamie,
before.
please.
It's all shot on iPhone. It looks incredible, and nobody could tell the difference.
This is the reason why you should.
Boom. Like everyone's like, oh, America, Trump is taking away journalistic integrity. That's Egypt. That's Egypt. Egypt is supposed to be a country that's a huge, like what they said, tourist destination. You can get arrested for taking pictures that they don't like. And Egypt's supposed to be like one of the more like tolerant nations in Africa and the Middle Eastern countries. And that's what it's like. This is the stuff that the left doesn't tell you about. It's like those little, it's like why they truly hate the West. Why like all Middle Eastern countries really hate like the West, America, and Israel. It's like their children put on plays from like 3 to 4 years old, as soon as they get into school, to be indoctrinated to hate the West, the Western nations, including Israel. Just like, that's the stuff you don't see. Is like, well, the Israelis are just attacking the Gaza Strip all the time. It's like, yeah, but you don't realize that they've been indoctrinated so thoroughly that there's like nothing that we can do to like unindoctrinate these people. They've been trained, they've been bred and trained to hate us since day one. And then here with this, like, this is what you don't hear about. You don't hear about like the journalistic like hoops that you have to jump through to do things just in these countries, in other countries. Like, I mean, if James O'Keefe went there and undercover journalism people and they caught him doing it, he would be in jail probably for the rest of his life. That's how messed up these other countries are with free speech. Like I said, we are the only nation that has free speech. That's why that Jeff Daniels or whatever his name was in that stupid like newsroom speech was so wrong. There are no other countries. I mean, people in Britain are being arrested for praying in public. That's not freedom of speech. It's absolutely ridiculous. You're getting arrested for tweets and posting things on Instagram. That's not a free country. Oh. And then remember this. These people had time to film TikToks of themselves, but not help people. Remember, while your families were being forced and separated from their loved ones, all these patients get COVID tests drove up their numbers, guilt tripping everyone into rapidly producing a shot. And they still had time to practice and film TikTok dances. Never forget COVID, clown world. Yeah, that is 100% true. It's like these people were telling us that this is the worst pandemic of our lifetime, and they were filming themselves doing TikTok dances while people were waiting. I mean, I remember that one. If I wish I could have found that one of that lady that was like filming it from the waiting room of them doing like a TikTok dance. Like, is this why we're not getting any service right now? It's like, yeah, that's why. Because all these nurses and doctors are going to go film themselves dancing during COVID, the worst pandemic that ever happened. You can't hate these people enough. A little bit of good news in the meme world, like Oklahoma's voting record over the past 20 years. Share with the Patriot. Like I said, Oklahoma is the only state that was completely red. God willing, I hope we stay that way. Oh, that's great. We're the only state. I mean, we turned red immediately in the last election. Like, we were the first state, like, done voting. It was hilarious. I love it. I love it. God bless Oklahoma. All right. This one is kind of a big deal. I'll play this video first.
We were asking him repeatedly to leave. And literally, he wouldn't even talk. He wouldn't even say anything. He felt like he could just stand there. That's not right. We were asking him repeatedly to leave. And literally, he wouldn't even talk. He wouldn't even say anything. He felt like he could just stand there. That's not right.
This is Carmelo Anthony's lawyer recounts Austin Metcalf's dad attending his press conference. The irony here is off the charts. They asked his father to leave because he wasn't supposed to be there. Just like Austin Metcalf asked Anthony Carmelo, "You're not supposed to be here. Could you please leave?" And did Austin Metcalf's dad stab or shoot or kill anybody there? Nope. But you know who did? Anthony Carmelo. Or Carmelo Anthony, whatever. Got asked to leave, wasn't supposed to be in a place, and stabbed somebody. How strange. How strange that you would say something like that. The irony is off the frickin' charts here. That is the best way to put that. This David Santa Carla has put it perfectly. Yeah, Trump announced its plans to open Alcatraz, make a city prison for all the inmates.
The plan would turn the city into a prison colony for America's worst criminals, most of whom already reside in the city. Preliminary polls have already shown overwhelming support among Americans for fencing off San Francisco and their poo-stained sidewalks from the rest of the country. What other cities should become prison colonies? Let us know in the comments. Donald Trump has just announced new plans to reopen.
I think that's great. I think that's funny, trying to bring back the greatness of Alcatraz and all that. But we're literally making, what was that stupid Kurt Russell show, like Escape New York and Escape L.A.? Where it's literally they turn L.A. and New York into giant prison colonies where they put the worst of the worst. I think that's absolutely hilarious. We're actually trying to turn stuff into that. That's hilarious. Oh, man. All right. This next one. Oh, from Kevin Sorbo. Any person who said that vaccines stop transmission should be fined $900 million for misinformation, just like Alex Jones was. Very true. Very true. It's funny that only the right seems to get the hammer of justice and the law come down on them from the government. Never anybody on the left. Very suspicious. All right, and then this is one of the unforeseen consequences of the Pope's opening to mass immigration. So check this out.
Party.
And you go to a local school?
Yeah.
Have you lived in this area all your life?
Yeah.
You're having problems at school. Can you just elaborate on the kind of problems that you're having?
Asian boys coming up to me and saying, I'm going to rape you, and if you don't go with me, I'm going to punch you in the face with a knuckle duster, and if you don't, give me a blowjob.
And this is happening at the school to several girls, it's not an individual case?
No, it's happening to lots of girls.
Do you think the teachers and the authorities are aware of this?
Yeah.
I mean, you're probably aware that the Edge of the City programme focused on young girls like yourself who are being targeted by Asians to be groomed in this particular area. Do you think that was an accurate description of what is happening?
Yes.
Have you contacted the police regarding them threatening to rape you?
Yeah.
And what's the police response has been?
They said that they're going to look into it.
And that is it?
Yeah.
What's your teacher's response been?
The pupils are going to get excluded for 15 school days.
Right, and that is it?
Yeah.
There's also the accusation that young Asian males are hanging outside schools in flash cars, basically intimidating young girls like yourself with threats. Is that the case?
Yeah.
And this is happening, what, once a week, twice a week?
Every day.
Every day?
Yeah.
And the authorities know it's happening, but they're not doing anything about it? And how do you feel when you're targeted by these people?
I feel intimidated by them and scared.
It's shocking that the generation before us have created a situation where young girls have to deal with this.
Party.
So this is again, like even in British schools or UK schools, like schools aren't obligated to protect your children. Just like what's going on, what we're finding out here with all the schools here is like the teachers union and stuff are only designed to protect teachers. They have no indications of helping the students. They don't have to. They're there to protect teachers. Teachers unions are there to serve themselves, the schools, and the teachers. That's it. And this is what's going on. Like, get suspended for 15 days for threatening to assault a female student. 15 days. This is what diversity is our strength. This is what everyone goes, this is why diversity is not necessarily a strength. Because your people are coming from cultures and backgrounds that laws and things that they're allowed to do in their nations are completely different from here. Like things that are legal there are illegal here. They don't care. They're trying to turn your country into their country, not vice versa. They're not trying to adapt and adjust to your country and your nation's laws. They're trying to change your country into their countries, especially when it comes to Islam. And that's what they're talking about. They say Asian, but remember, the UK has changed Middle Eastern people to Asian to try to like hide the numbers. Because all those Japanese and Chinese, foreign nationals are coming over here and assaulting all of the girls over here. Sure they are. It said, sad. AOC is unable to obtain real ID because she died on January 6th and is a ghost. That would be, and yeah, they're trying to make her the front runner for president. She got 10% of the vote of the Democratic Party for being the next front runner. Now, granted, that's not a lot because the Democratic Party is so divided right now, but the fact that she is their front runner is ridiculous, is absolutely ridiculous. But hey, runner, I hope she loses because the Democratic Party has run 2 additional females already, Hillary Clinton and Kamala Harris, and lost. Please bring on another one. Let's see another loss from this. Oh, man. Oh, yeah, this is great. One of these kids complained that their childhood was stolen, and you've got, like, slave labor, child soldiers, all this, so sweatshop workers, then you have Greta Thunberg sitting on a yacht. One of these kids' childhoods was stolen. Absolutely hilarious. And this is Republican Daniel Stella running against Ilhan Omar. Share this everywhere. I hope she does win, but I'm telling you right now, it's going to be an uphill battle because the little area that she runs is all Somali. That is like a purely Somali area. And that's the only reason Ilhan Omar won was because of how big the Somali population is there. So I hope she wins. Maybe they've redistrict since then, and maybe we can get some more people who actually are, people who live there and have lived there their whole lives to vote for her. But it's going to be an uphill battle. I can tell you that right now. And then, of course, we can't not talk about the Pope without talking about Donald Trump putting his hat in for being the Pope. Absolutely hilarious. But remember, this is what I showed this one yesterday. This is that France opening ceremony for whatever it was. Was it the Olympics or I don't remember even what it was, but they're like, yeah, we're not. They purposely said that they were doing this to mock Christianity. And they're all LGBTQ trans type folks right here. So if this offends you, but this France opening ceremony thing doesn't, these are the people telling you that I can't believe Donald Trump would dress up as the Pope. How terrible. It's like, yeah. Well, if you didn't think that this was terrible, but this is, you're a hypocrite. You're absolutely a hypocrite. Oh, man, alive. Okay, and there's this next one to prove that there's something strange about liberal families versus conservative families. And check this out. We've shown this before, but I still love watching it.
Interesting. What do you think about this?
So that's an interesting statistic that you were saying that conservative families have less depressed kids. Is that what you're saying?
Boys from liberal families have higher anxiety rates than girls from conservative families.
But above, if you just looked at the norm, more girls generally have anxiety.
Right.
Yeah. But in conservative families, girls are less anxious than boys from liberal families.
That's right. I mean, we could speculate as to why. There are lots of proposed reasons for that. One of the things might be that, aside from the fact that parents in conservative families may be more comfortable asserting their authority with kids.
That's
true.
true.
That's an old finding. We've known for
That's true.
generations now that authoritative parenting meaning not cold parenting, not cruel, not unloving.
Rules.
But rules. Those kids have better mental health. They're happier and they're more successful in all kinds of ways.
Interesting. What do you think about this?
So that's an interesting.
Okay. So, boys on average are way less anxious than girls. But when they asked if they were came from a liberal family versus a conservative family, the boys in liberal families were way more anxious than girls from conservative families. Maybe that's coming from a generation of parents telling boys that they're bad, they're rapists, they're everything about them being straight, white, and male is bad. I mean, yeah, if you're getting inundated with that every day from your parents and from the people that they're around, and you can only just go, you're right, yeah, you're going to create levels of being completely anxious and anxiety, and then these people go and run for office. So, not mentally all there. You can't just take a generation and tell them that, oh, everything about you is awful. It's absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, just a interesting find there. All right, then there's this next one is just talking about, we'll just watch it first and then I'll put in my 2 cents because this video is crazy.
Shooting in Myrtle Beach that you did not hear about. 11 people were shot. Isn't that crazy? Did you guys hear about 11 people? And here's the video of him being arrested.
They done fucking shot this boy. They done shot the girl. What the fuck, y'all? Police, Myrtle Beach City Police Department, they fucking know better, boy. Y'all bitches some pigs, boy.
So she's yelling at the cops, calling them pigs, even though the guy they're arresting shot 11 people.
She calls them fucking pigs while they're tending to one of the victims of the mass shooting. That's what they think. They come up on a scene and they go, cops are just killing people.
And then the people you're defending are the ones killing people. It's backwards and upside down. And the mom of the shooter is complaining that the cop shot her son as well.
She says, my baby would have never, ever pulled his gun out unless he knew there was a threat to him, unless he felt harm, unless he felt like something was fixing to happen to him. And I know this 1,000% sure.
So maybe 11 people were really about to do something to him, and he went boom, 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 Clint Eastwood style.
This was a John Wick scenario.
There was a shooting in Myrtle Beach that you...
Okay. So calling the cops pigs while they're helping victims of the shooter. Literally calling them effing pigs while they're going to help. What are you doing? That girl in there is videoing, trying to get on World Star, while that girl's out there being shot, bleeding out, and the cops run over to give her aid, and she's calling them pigs. And then, of course, the parents defending their kid, saying that he would never have done something like that unless he was threatened. Well, let's just go with the hypothetical that he was being threatened by those 11 people that he shot. What was going on that they were threatening him? Were they trying to mug him? I highly doubt that's going to be the case. Maybe some sort of gang violence issue, but Myrtle Beach has like stuff like this happen all the time. Like Myrtle Beach is like ranked one of the deadliest areas regularly because of stuff like this. It's insane. It is insane. Which kind of brings me to this next one here. And we'll just watch it first, and then I'll put in my 2 cents.
This conversation a lot with Africans or even just Caribbean people who will often look down on Black Americans. Number one, they will say they lazy, they ghetto. I've heard African parents tell their kids not to date African American men, not to marry them, things of that nature. What are some negative stereotypes y'all heard about Black Americans from your parents, from your friends?
You literally said it all.
Yeah. That's it?
Yeah, 100%.
Right.
Like my mom would tell me not to marry an African American.
Right.
She says it all the time.
Even when I hear like African parents say that, it very much sounds like the same rhetoric that a white person would tell their kids. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't marry that Black guy. Like, he's ratchet, they ghettoed. It's crazy to hear other Black people have that type of rhetoric towards each other. I do have this conversation a lot with African.
Now, interesting enough, I don't know much about this podcast or whatever it is, but that is an interesting topic there. It's like there's something different about the African American community than there is about a natural African, or as he says, Caribbean, black person than there is in America. And I can confirm this. While I was at basic training, the African Americans and the people who actually came from like Africa or Jamaica did not get along. Like, they did not get along at all. And like, there would be fights in the bay at night between them because they're telling them things. And like, it's like, it has to do with something within the culture of the African American community, because it's true. They would be more friendly with the white people. And so like the white people saying, and like, this is the problem, is like, there's no introspective look. It's like always blaming outward. That's like, so the white community says that the African American community has something wrong with it, and we don't want you to mess with their community. We don't want you to date them, whatever it happens to be. And not saying that that's right, but he's saying that the white community says that about the black community. Okay, and let's just go with the fact that they're right. They're all racist. All the white people are racist. That's why they say that about the African American community. Okay, so then you have to ask yourselves, why then are other black individuals from other countries, like actual Africans and Jamaicans, people from the Caribbean, saying the exact same thing? So it can't be racism. Or you're saying that people who've actually lived in Africa their whole lives and people who lived in the Caribbean their whole lives are just naturally racist, or they've been influenced by the white man their whole lives, despite the fact they don't live in a majority white nation. Questions. And I can tell you that I saw this happen for a fact several times in basic training at night. Like, there would be fights between legitimate Africans and people from the Caribbean, which we had a Jamaican guy in my platoon, and the African Americans. And it would be bad. We'd have to break up fights. Not all the time, but like when it would go down, yeah, we'd have to be breaking up fights between them. And it's crazy. Then this just goes on to this right here, is like to show you that schools are not obligated to protect your children. Check this out. Just more evidence of that.
Someone's gonna get answer me. The taunts are meant for the girl dressed in the red shirt, cowering in the corner of a bathroom at Inglewood's Woodworth Monroe Academy at the end of the school day on April 30th. We've masked the curse words, blurred the faces, but you can see the attack. Hair pulling and hitting as other children jump and cheer. Even as the red shirt girl goes down and you hear her crying. The hair pulling, the laughter, they continue.
My daughter was being dragged. She was literally being dragged.
Beatriz Hernandez is the mother of the child being hit on the video.
And even though it was another little girl, it's still bad. Like, how did it get this bad where the school didn't know anything about it when I went to them multiple times about my daughters being bullied?
She shows us a report filed with Inglewood Unified School Police from December of 2023, reporting bullying against this child and her two siblings, quote, about their deceased father. Someone's gonna get answer me. The taunts are meant for the girl dressed in the who died of a heart attack 3 years ago.
Ever since my husband passed, they've been getting bullied, telling them like, oh, your dad died, ha ha ha. I guess it's so funny for them.
She says nothing was done back then, and after this videotaped incident,
she was suspended for a fight because she fought another student. They didn't call me, she was bleeding, but they didn't call me to tell me she was bleeding. They just called me to tell me that she got in a fight.
What you see here is one victim cowering in the corner of a bathroom while multiple students not only physically and verbally attack her, but they're recording it. And we handle a lot of these cases, and unfortunately, that's the reality now, that sometimes these attacks are done purely for social media.
Who died of a heart attack 3 years ago.
Bullied because her dad died. Maybe you can maybe there's a joke in there that maybe they don't know their dads, but I mean, good Lord. And they're Hispanic. It's not like this is, a white person. This little girl's Hispanic, clearly Hispanic. So, good Lord, what's going on? See, there's just something going on within the African American communities here. It's like, why would they do that? If you think that that's okay, you think that's okay for your kids, like, and I'm sure the school was like, yeah, it was a mutual fight, and like all those girls that were filming were like, no, she started it, just like they came out and like, because they have their backs, they're their friends, they're gonna have each other's backs. It's the gang. It is a group/gang mentality. Like, you're gonna protect the guys on your side. It's like, no, she started it. She started the fight or whatever. It's like clearly being surrounded in the bathroom. Yeah, you are a real instigator at that point. But yeah, that's the schools. Schools do not have an obligation to tell you what happens to your kids at schools. And in fact, most times they won't. And this is what Officer Hine is talking about. This is why I've been doing like a big thing this week about, kids in schools and schools not protecting kids is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. It's like in this case, like the school had nothing to do with this. It was not any of the teachers' faults. It was nothing like this, but they're keeping information away from the parent. It was, oh, your daughter got into a fight. Not that your daughter was jumped in the bathroom. Your daughter got into a fight. Right. But this is why you wonder why we're seeing like homeschooling rates like skyrocket. Crap like this is why. Do you want your kid to be bullied and jumped inside of a public school bathroom? Yeah. Absolutely ridiculous. Then this is the kind of last thing I'm going to like end off on, just on a high note, because there's just so much negativity going on right now. But yeah, this guy is a freaking hero. Pizza delivery guy is a freaking hero.
Guys, 6-year-old girl and a 23-year-old male missing in the house somewhere.
Caught on camera, a Tippecanoe County house on fire with 5 children trapped inside.
A firefighter runs toward this house, but it turns out a citizen actually got into the burning home first. This is Nicholas Bostic that you see here carrying a girl to safety. That girl is okay, but Nicholas breathed in a lot of smoke that night. He suffered a severe cut on his arm. So as crews now attend to him and treat his injury, they begin to learn these dramatic details about the rescue. Nicholas told them he was driving, saw the house on fire, so he stopped, went up to the house, got in a back door, opened it up, and yelled that the house was on fire. Then Nicholas goes upstairs and finds 4 kids who are asleep. He helps get those kids out safely. Then Nicholas learns that a 6-year-old girl is still inside the burning home. So he crawls on the floor, he hears a child cry. Once he found the girl, he broke open a 2nd-story window and he jumped out with her.
Please tell me that baby's okay. Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, she's okay.
100%. Yeah, you're okay. You did good, dude. Okay.
Hey, guys.
Just a little bit of like hope at the end of all this like negativity through all this crazy stuff that we've been seeing. But that's really all I've got for today. Let me go ahead and transition it and we'll get ready to play us out. But this was Chad with Owasso Live, and this was The Morning Loop. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you too can stay in the loop. But I think that's really all I've got for today. So I'll see y'all next week. God bless you. See you later, everybody.
Healed the sick. They demanded his death. He spoke the truth. They crowned him with thorns. He dragged a heavy cross he didn't deserve. They whipped him, mocked him, nailed him down, and still, he didn't quit. So, my friend, what's your excuse for giving up?